The effort to improve the readiness of students bound for college seems to have stalled. Here's CBS's Heather Bosch.
Less than half, about 40% of graduating high school students who took the ACT college entrance exam showed they're ready for college. 31% didn't meet standards in any of the core subjects. The nonprofit group that administers the test says the results are about the same as they were 4 years ago, and there's still a race gap with white and Asian Americans outperforming other ethnic groups. ACT administrators say this is a huge problem in a world where good jobs increasingly require more advanced skills. Heather Bosch, CBS News.
TV viewing got a bit limited now for some Dish customers. 129 local stations in 79 markets have gone off the air because of a battle with the owner of the channels. Dish says it's a dispute over terms as Sinclair Broadcasting attempts to buy a cable channel. Steve Kathan, CBS News.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies. Rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, a man age 45 non-tobacco user, $1 million of coverage, $75 per month level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-800-569-5440. That's 1-800-569-5440. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters, 1-800-569-5440, or visit our website at termbusters.net. Remember, 1-800-569-5440. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes based on preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their two locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has two locations, 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bicouvaris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson. Greg Bicouvaris along with Ken Johnson. Ken, we need to start the show off. First of all, may their memory be eternal. The reporter and her colleague who were shot and killed this morning on live television. Ken, you and I have been in radio and TV. I've been in since the mid-'80s. Of course, you've been in a little bit longer. I have never seen anything quite like that. Shows you never know when you're out in the public anymore.
The only thing I've seen close to it is there was a reporter talking to a woman at a cemetery. I don't even remember the circumstances. Apparently there had been some kind of family dispute or something. And as she's sitting there talking to the reporter, some guy drives up in a car, walks across and starts shooting at her, gets back in the car, starts driving off. But other than that, I can't recall seeing anything quite like that, and on live television as well. For anybody that's ever worked in front of or behind the cameras, there's a lot of crazy people.
Sometimes you can't look over your back. You're right.
Yeah,
and
you have our sympathy out there, WDBJ out in Roanoke, Lynchburg, and that vicinity, and let's hope the best for the family and survivors.
Yep, and I know the Virginia State Police are probably going to go after this person like they've never before. And I'll say this, too, and I was stranded on the road the other day on a personal note, and I want to thank the Virginia State Police for bailing me out there. I was on 64. I want to thank them as well. They are the best. They take care of people. Always respect your fellow people in the police uniforms and your first responders. All right, folks, this is Sports Scene on a happier note on this Wednesday. The weather's getting a little bit better, Kenny.
Yeah, a little touch of fall here and there. I saw a woolly worm the other day.
Yeah, still humid though. I'm like
the caterpillar, you dirty-minded.
I like the air conditioning still. I just cannot. You know me, Ken. I got a fan going on while I'm talking here on the radio. Sports Scene every Wednesday noon to 1 right here on News Talk 1650. Your home for CBS News. Don't forget TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone or your computer. I want to thank our good colleague Brian Parsons for being on last week, and Brian, of course, will showcase this program and a lot more on the next couple days on Fox 43. So make sure you stay tuned and watch that with Brian Parsons. This is your home for talk radio. Tell your friends about 1650 on Facebook and Twitter. WHKT, of course, 1650theanswer.com. And, of course, Twitter. Go to my homepage and my website, gjbtv.com. You'll see my 4 Twitter handles, Greg Bick, Sports Highlight, GJBTV, and HR Online Mall.com. Thank you to our military. Great guest lineup as well. Sponsors on GJBTV.com homepage and marketplace sponsors. And also our guest lineup presented by FinksCarCare.com. And, of course, they took care of my car as well. As always, and they're a great sponsor right here on this radio station. The phone line presented by HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, and visit as well, folks. You got to look at it. HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Simply a great place to go to restaurants, marketplace, retail, services. Tell your friends about HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Thanks to our great sponsors, India Palace, Me Hogar, Dan Eby, Spaghetti Eddies, and Finks, as well as CP Shuckers and MeCasitaMexican.com. Major League Baseball is going on, preseason football. So in my opinion. High school football around the corner, vacations last minute before the summer, and a little all the tourists. Again, this is 1650 AM. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT along with Ken Johnson. Live on the radio, Greg Bicouvaris. Stay tuned. We'll talk to you in just a few.
When it comes to all things graphic design, one name in Tidewater stands out: Dan Eby Graphic Design. Whether it's a logo, brochure, mailer, or website, Dan Eby takes on your project with one thing in mind: creating stunning, eye-catching designs that make your phone ring and help grow your business. Call today for your free consultation, 237-5194. That's 237-5194. Or see their work online at daneby.net. That's DANEBY.net. Dan Eby Graphic Design. They make your business stand out.
Good Italian food, daily specials, and a place people enjoy is Spaghetti Eddies. Indulge in your mouth-watering pizza, pasta, subs, salads, appetizers, and desserts. Open 7 days a week. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Taylor Road and on Eden Way North in Chesapeake for lunch and dinner. Like them on Facebook. Italian food you can count on is at Spaghetti Eddies. Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio.
I cannot get enough of this bumper music. We played it back-to-back weeks. I love it. I just love some of the nostalgic bumper music.
You know, there's a heavy metal version of this, too.
Oh, we'll go ahead and get that ready as well. All right, we're talking here with Larry Bonko, longtime Virginian-Pilot columnist, now with Veer Magazine, radio, TV, film. He's covered it all for several decades, a legend in Hampton Roads. I've had him on radio before. Larry, welcome to News Talk 1650, my friend.
Hey, nice talking to you guys. Sorry it's such a sorrowful day, but you know what I always say when I hear these stories: guns, guns, guns. And I don't know what the solution is, but it's gotten horrendous. But two horrendous stories: the Paris train story and this story in less than a week.
Yeah, Larry, this sounds like, to me, Ken, and we'll go ahead and chime in as well, a disgruntled employee taking it out on innocent people.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like. The last thing I heard, waiting for you guys, was did he take his own life, or did the state police kill him? I know he's dead anyway. That's the last thing I heard.
Last update I was able to check on was about 15 minutes ago, so I don't know what the latest is. The last I saw was they were still looking for him, but
yeah,
there's so much stuff going on.
Great TV station, too, in Roanoke, WDBJ. Been around a long time.
Yep.
Larry, let's talk about what you're up to lately. You worked for the Pilot for a long time, and, of course, print has totally changed since when you first got there. But let's give us an up-to-date what you're doing today.
Yeah, 47 years I worked for the Pilot, and before that I worked for 4 years for the Daily Press, and before that I was a Navy journalist, so I've been doing this for a few years. Well, I retired from the Pilot in 2007, actually right before the recession hit, and right before the print crisis really developed. When I left, when I retired in June of 2007, the world was rosy. Newspapers the future looked great. The recession wasn't here yet. Real estate values were high in Virginia Beach. I just bought my home that year, so. Since I've been retired, this incredible developments have come. But I went after I retired. I went back to work for him for a while in 2010 on freelance, and then I started up with Veer magazine, and I've been covering radio and television locally, primarily for Veer. Although this month I've just finished the preview of the fall TV season, which I do every year. But mostly I concentrate on local radio and TV because after I retired, no one really picked up the beat on the Pilot.
Talking to Larry Bonko, Greg Bicouvaris, glad you're with us live on the radio here at 12:16. And you mentioned how newspapers have evolved and changed. And that really hit me this morning. What you just said. I was at Chick-fil-A over in Chesapeake this morning, and I saw a gentleman well into his senior years not reading a newspaper, Larry and Ken, but looking at his tablet. Mm-hmm. Obviously, things have changed. You would walk into a restaurant 10 years ago, everybody had a newspaper. Now, you rarely see that anymore at restaurants.
Yeah, I remember when I would go to New York City, I would ride the subways, and I would see people with the Daily News in the New York Mirror at that time, and they would be riding the subways, folding the newspaper, so that that's why the tabloid was created, so you can fold it and read it in one hand. Mm-hmm. And I wonder now if I went on a subway in New York, would I see anybody reading a newspaper?
Who knows?
But it's the evolution. I know I myself, I subscribe, of course, to the Pilot, and I subscribe to USA Today. But I read the Washington Post every day and New York Times on my computer. But to be honest with you, I don't like doing that. I mean, I don't like sitting at a computer and scrolling down or reading a lot of type. But I do it. But I really don't like it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard on the eyes, I think. And I was reading a long story yesterday on the New York Times online, and I mean, how long is this thing going to go on?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Exactly right. The unlimited population, as far as print, is unlimited. Ken and Larry both online. Correct, Ken? The broadband can go forever online compared to a newspaper.
Yeah, and obviously you don't have to worry about the infrastructure of the ink, the paper, the printing, the getting it out. The putting it in a place where people can buy the
paper boys.
Et cetera. It's more efficient, but I agree with Larry. I can't read a book online. I have to have the paper in my hand. I have to have a book in my hand. I have to feel the binding. I have to be able to just scan around the pages if I want to. Same thing with a newspaper.
Yeah.
Although it's sad to see the Pilot. I posted not too long ago a picture of the Virginian-Pilot front page from about 1971, 72, right next to a current one, and it was smaller. And on the front page of the current, there were maybe 3 stories. On the one from 71, there had to be 15 stories on there. So,
well, sure. Well, the first thing newspapers did to cut the newspapers, the big cost factors. Newspaper are the workers. And newsprint. Newsprint very, very expensive. Mm-hmm. That's why the big companies own their own newsprint factories. so what? The first thing they cut was a newsprint. So you cut the borders a little bit. Then, well, that doesn't save much. So when you cut down the page size, look. If you ever pick up the parade in the Sunday paper, how small it's become?
Yeah,
and look at even magazines. You remember when the Rolling Stone was a big, heavy magazine, and look at it now. So that's where the first cost cutting came. But when I think about the newspapers and I read these stories about digital will be the end of newspapers and the internet will kill it. But I think back to the day John Kennedy was shot. And I was working at the paper at the time. I was still a sports writer. I remember I was hovering over the wire machines. I had sent a query or something, and the bulletin came in about Kennedy being shot. And then I looked in the newsroom, and all the reporters and editors were gathered around a television set. And I said to myself, well, we're getting the news on television in 1963. It's coming on television. Well, what are we going to do? I mean, how are we going to beat that?
Right. Well, it's hard to beat live TV. We're talking to Larry Bonko, Greg Bicouvaris, Ken Johnson. This is Sports Scene. Up until 1 o'clock, you're home for CBS News, and everything is instant. You're right. Everything, whether it's their phone, the computer, everything is instant. And you mentioned, Time Magazine, Life Magazine. These were all Sports Illustrated. They were all very relevant now, but people can read them online. I got to ask you mentioned the fall TV season. I'm very intrigued by the show on Fox called Gotham. It shows the villains of the Batman and that whole era before they became villains. Really good ratings on Fox, and I think that it's renewed obviously for another season, so something must be going well for Fox there.
It returns on September 23rd, I can't remember what date. I don't have my copy in front of me, but it returns either on the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th. So that's what I'm finishing. I'm putting the dates on the premieres today, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Yeah, it's a great show. It's you can't the Batman legend, the Superman legend, and matter of fact, Supergirl. See, whoever thought CBS would put Supergirl on the air? I mean, CBS is a network of 60 Minutes and Madam Secretary and The Good Wife, and then they come up with Supergirl, which, by the way, is very cute and very clever. I mean, I just finished watching it. But the superheroes has gotten its grip on the American public since the 1940s, since those two kids, Joe Siegel and his buddy, thought up Superman.
Oh yeah,
and ever since then we've been intrigued with them. I mean, I learned how to read when I was a kid by reading comic books.
Yeah, and I'm not a big fan that Batman is taking on Superman. Ken and I have talked about that before, but you know this good and well, Larry and Ken both. In my opinion, the best Superman ever, kids, go to YouTube, was George Reeves. You remember him, of course, Larry.
Oh sure, I've interviewed George Reeves several times. Very nice man. He was. People forget he had a small part in Gone with the Wind. He played one of the rich young dudes at the time.
The Tarleton Twins.
And he was on his way to becoming a very, maybe not in the Clark Gable class, but he was on his way to becoming a very distinguished actor.
Yeah.
And until this day, until he died, he thought his career was destroyed by playing Superman. That was it. But what are you going to do? I mean, I was watching the other day. I was watching an old Columbo, and Peter Falk, which, by the way, was a very good television show.
Sure.
And you take those roles, and what happens after that? I mean, what would you do if you were an actor, a young and maybe not quite established, and they said, look, we're going to make you Batman, and you're going to have a successful run for 3 or 4 years, and you'll be a household word till the day you die. Your obituary will be written the day you take that role, or you're going to play Superman. Would you take it? What would you do?
Oh, that's exactly what happened to Heath Ledger, and of course, he passed away. The similarity between him and George Reeves, Ken, was also very similar.
Well, I remember the great movie Dirty Harry with Clint Eastwood. Well, the guy who played the villain, the guy who was the killer,
Andrew McCarthy,
Zodiac killer. Never found the guy. That poor guy could not get another job in the movie.
Sure,
because he said people in the average moviegoer in their mind have you as that maniacal killer. We don't want you in our movie. So that's an interesting question that faces these people. Would you, if you had to do it all over again, would you have become Superman? Would you have become Columbo? Would you have become what people are playing? People are typecast now in movies. I mean, now
would Bill Shatner be
After the
Captain
Big
Kirk
Bang
again.
Theory goes up, Big Bang Theory goes off the air, what are those people going to do?
Sure. Larry, you talk about, remember the Wizard of Oz, my favorite female actress was Judy Garland, but the girl that played the Wicked Witch of the West, she was not old then, but she played that role, and it scared kids totally, and to this day, you look at her, she was very frightening, and she played that role as good as you can get.
Yeah, but she ended up being in a coffee commercial.
Yeah.
She lived to be for a long, long time. By the way, she lived to be even Judy Garland. I mean, Judy Garland. She was. Should I play this part or not? And they originally was going to Shirley Temple, but she didn't want it, and she was sort of stuck with that role in her early career. I'm this kid, and I'm playing this kid in this movie, and everybody at MGM thought it was a stupid movie and it would never do anything. And a lot of people didn't want to even work in it, and look what happened. It becomes a tremendous classic. So you never know, do you?
Right. I interviewed Larry King 4 years ago. I know you've talked to him before. When I worked at the game 4 years ago on the radio, really it was an honor to interview Larry King. And I'll say this, I still like to watch CNN, but they have done nothing with that 9 o'clock hour after Larry King left to this day.
Well, and I watch CNN, and I still watch everything on television.
Sure.
And I say, what are you doing? What are you doing? I say that to the Weather Channel too. What are you doing? Why you have these programs on that have nothing to do with the news? And I don't. You're right. They have never filled Larry King's spot. Piers Morgan didn't work. Whatever they have on now doesn't work. So I don't know. I talked to him after he lost that job, and he said they'll rue the day they took me off the air, and I believe that's true.
Right, he's just doing infomercials now, for goodness sake.
Well, no, he has a show on the internet,
right?
Interview, and it's pretty good. It's still Larry King, if you like Larry, and
right. And I've seen it, but here's the thing about that: you still need a radio and TV platform in 2015 to promote the internet. A lot of people say, "Okay, I can do a podcast or do a YouTube show," but unless you're on live radio or live TV, you're to me you're not relevant. And I've told this to Ken before, and I've told this to other people that nobody's going to gather around 1,000 people around a computer to watch the Super Bowl. They're still going to watch it on big screen TVs.
No, you're right. No, network television is still the greatest platform for reaching an audience.
Right.
Network television,
absolutely,
broadcast television. They talk, and I watch the Fox channel every night, and they say, well, it's the number one. O'Reilly show's the number one top-rated show on cable. Okay, fine. What does he have? He has 1 million people watching if he's lucky. And the lowest-rated show on the lowest-rated network today will have more people than that.
Yep. Talking to Larry Bonko, Greg Bicouvaris live on the radio, 1226. This is Sports Scene at Greg Bick on Twitter. Are you big into social media at all, Larry?
Well, no, I'm on it because I have to be, but I'm not I'm on all of them, but I'm not that big about it. Like I said, I don't really like sitting down at a computer for a long time, or even with a tablet in my hand and doing that.
Right.
I don't know, maybe because I'm older than the folks who embrace it. But I don't. All these smartphone. I have a smartphone. It's too small.
Yeah.
Well, what I can't see it on there. So I'm into it, but I'm not too crazy about it.
And I've got a high-end 4G smartphone too, but I'll tell you what, the best interviews are on landlines, what we're talking on right now.
Yes, well, I mean, we talked about this before,
sure.
But I'm a rabid fan of AM radio. I mean, I listen to yours, which, by the way, you guys are doing a good job on the station.
Thank you.
I love listening to Laura in the morning and the stuff you have on at night. And you guys got a tremendous signal on 1650. Boy, you can hear you all over the place.
I'll repeat, he did say Laura in the morning, right, Kenny?
That's right, Laura Ingram in the morning.
Best, it starts at what time, Kenny? 10?
Yeah,
starts at 10.
I like her. She's going to be on O'Reilly's show tonight.
Oh, she's a great girl. Totally. Talking to Larry Bonko. All right, Larry, let's talk about what you and I really talked about off the air was when I was growing up as a kid, my dad's father used to watch Joe Folks at Channel 13. We saw Diana Morgan, to me, as the best TV anchor at Channel 10. Channel 3 had Ed Hughes. And the anchors are still very solid. My good friend Brian Parsons was one here last week with me. And I'm not talking about 10 or 13, so you folks try to put two and two together here. The reporters on one certain station with kids holding a phone while they're talking on the air, disrespectful to the audience, and they change, you wrote an article about this, they change more than Walmart employees do.
Yeah, I said they change. They come and go as often as the bus down to North Carolina. But I was watching them yesterday. As a matter of fact, I said, "Who are you? where did you come from? The young woman was on there. I said, where did you come from? I'm going to look into that. I'm going to do a piece on that about where these young people come from. Sometime in the summer when they're on there, they're interns, so
sure.
You can't judge them there. But I guess the reason is money again.
I guess
the seasoned reporter makes more money than a kid coming out of college. But I sort of miss seeing more of those seasoned reporters. Although 10 and 13 have those people. They have.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they still have the old timers on the beat on military and that. But you're right. I don't know why they hire them or where they come from or what the answer is. But I am going to do something on that.
Because I do a lot of stage managing work at the network level, and they could never get away with that at the network level. And they can get away with this on local TV, but not at the net. We can't fool anybody at the network level.
Well, you talk about the network level, and again, we watch cable, we watch Fox and CNN and MSNBC, and we watch the locals. But, every night, if you want to see real good news television and real good news journalism, it's still those three network shows at 6:30. I mean, you watch everything else, it's okay, they do a good job. But those people who do NBC, ABC, and CBS at 6:30 still... they still do the best job of covering the news, and I'm still glad they're on there, and I'm still glad they're relative, although they are skewing to an older audience. They have these commercials on there for everything from headaches to constipation. So,
well, right. It's like what Jim Rome said when he worked at our station. He was, doing the national show on The Game when I used to work there. You got to feed the beast. The beast is so big now. It's radio, it's TV, it's social media, it's print, it's online, it's webcasts, it's YouTube, it's LinkedIn. There's so many platforms to promote. And back in the day when you saw Dan Rather or Tom Brokaw or Peter Jennings, it was pretty much TV and that was it. Radio, newspaper, magazines. Now there's so many platforms, everybody has a way to voice what they want to talk about.
But it's still, when a big story breaks,
sure.
The average person, they still go to that AM radio station and they still go to that VHF TV station. You know that? I mean, like today when the story broke in Roanoke, I mean, I was listening to you guys at your 12 o'clock, and then I was listening to NIS from CBS. I mean, Fox rather. So that doesn't change. That doesn't change. People know where the good stuff is, and I think they'll keep going there all the time.
Yeah, top of the hour, they can count on CBS News on this station. And TuneIn.com, Larry, people can hear this show anywhere in the world. I was in Puerto Rico a few weeks ago listening to this encore edition of the show on my phone.
Oh yeah, I'm a St. Louis Cardinal baseball fan,
right.
And I stream him online almost every night.
Let me ask you that: you think Joe Buck is as good as his daddy was, Jack Buck?
I like Joe Buck, but there's something about him. Because I grew up as a kid with Harry Carey doing the Cardinal games,
right?
And toward the end of his life, and when he was on GN with he sort of became a clown. Harry Carey, but he was a terrific play-by-play announcer when he was a young man.
Yep.
And, I like Joe. I don't dislike him. The thing I don't like in sports broadcasting is three men in the booth or three.
Right, I agree.
Like on Monday Night Baseball, they had two guys and they had a girl on there.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving her. I mean, not to have anything against the girl or any, but I just don't like three men in the booth.
Yeah.
That's too much.
I agree. I'm a firm believer two's companies, three's a crowd anywhere, and you got to we gave credit to the late Frank Gifford. I mean, I think his booth with Cosell and Meredith worked as good as they can get, and those are a lot of egos. I mean, let's face it, people in broadcasting have huge egos, and for three grown men to talk during a short window is difficult.
Yeah, but Frank was smart enough not to talk much.
Right, or Pat Summerall either.
Yeah, one thing on cable I get the Major League Baseball Network, and every once in a while they have the Dodger game on there, and that is pure joy to listen to a Dodger broadcast.
Right.
Hear Vince Scully. I mean, that is an artisan in at work. I mean, it is beautiful. One man doing a television broadcast. It is beautiful. I'll be sorry on the day he retires, but that is beautiful to listen to.
And he's well into his 80s. I mean, he's no spring chicken. Larry, thank you so much. We're going to have to get you back on again and elaborate some more and talk about some more fond memories. But thank you for all that you've done in the electronic media.
I tell your boss at the station that I'm going to be in touch with him soon to find out, to get some to get the basics of what you're all doing on 1650, because I am going to do an AM piece very soon.
Very good. Larry, all the best to you, my friend.
Same to you, and stay healthy.
Thank you. That's the key. Right. You don't have health, you don't have anything. And he is just really just a dictionary of information, an online dictionary now, Kenny.
Yeah, appreciate the kudos too, Larry. Good job. Thank you very much.
Very good. Larry Bonko right there, the legend, the media critic, the #1 ever media critic in this market, bar none. Larry Bonko right there. All right, Greg Bicouvaris, Ken Johnson, 1234. This is Sports Scene. Of course, a reminder, it's lunchtime right now. Don't forget our good friends at CP Shuckers. Great local tradition with locations on Shore Drive and Pacific Avenue. People love their prime ribs, seafood, pasta, burgers, wings, and of course Wednesday night Chef Leon has his bar bites at Shore Drive. You don't want to miss that. Monday is wing and shrimp night. Tuesday is crab leg night. Go by and see Matt and Mark and wear your college team attire and get half off all pitchers on Saturdays. CP Shuckers has all the football showcasing SEC, Big Ten, Pac-12, and all the college and NFL games. Like both locations on Facebook and log on to cpshuckers.com. Eat or be eaten at CP Shuckers. And of course, stay tuned. We got highlights. We got What Teased Me Off and a lot more. This is another live edition of Sports Scene at 12:34 on 1650 AM. TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT. Of course, go to gjbtv.com. Hit the YouTube link for archive shows and listen on TuneIn.com. Type WHKT. Stay tuned. People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
The place for authentic Indian food is the India Palace. They feature authentic Indian cuisine, have a party hall, and do catering and banquets. Open daily for lunch and dinner, they showcase an excellent lunch buffet at their Chesapeake and Virginia Beach locations. Visit their 2 locations at 1437 Sam's Drive in Chesapeake off of Battlefield Boulevard and 5600 Virginia Beach Boulevard in Virginia Beach, and online at IndiaPalaceVB.com. On Facebook, look for India Palace Virginia Beach and India Palace Bar and Grill. Dine at the India Palace today.
When it comes to all things graphic design, one name in Tidewater stands out: Dan Eby Graphic Design. Whether it's a logo, brochure, mailer, or website, Dan Eby takes on your project with one thing in mind: creating stunning, eye-catching designs that make your phone ring and help grow your business. Call today for your free consultation, 237-5194. That's 237-5194. Or see their work online at daneby.net. That's DANEBY.net. Dan Eby Graphic Design. They make your business stand out.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads Online Mall.com studio. It's now time for Greg's Highlights, presented by Hampton Roads Online Mall.com.
And you can see Smithfield VA events right there on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Folks are going to it every day. It's revamped. It's all fresh. It's new. Retail, services, marketplace, restaurants, all categorized right there on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. All the tourists are going to it as well. We want to thank you as well for listening to Sports Scene right here every Wednesday, noon to 1 during the lunch hour. Of course, we'll get to Gina in just a moment. Highlights coming up, GJBTV.com for archive shows. Click the YouTube link. Shop on the Marketplace sponsors on the homepage, as well as the Marketplace sponsors on GJBTV.com. Save the date each Wednesday from noon to 1. Almost sounds like a wedding invitation. Save the date for Sports Scene every Wednesday, 12 to 1. TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT. Business Spotlight Scenes coming up. What Teased Me Off. Don't forget my TV program, Sports Highlights, on NNPSTV.com. And, of course, great guest, as always, all powered by Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com. Browse, shop, and visit today. Smithfield VA Events has got a lot going on. To tell us more about it, Gina Ippolito. Gina, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
Always so good. Finally, the weather's starting to break a little bit. You know, it's not quite that old expression, you know, when mom's in the kitchen, dad's working in the oven getting for the fall-winter season, but, you know, you can start to see a little remnant of fall.
Yeah, I think people are starting to get excited about it. You know, some kids have started back to school this week, and the college kids have gone, so fall is just around the corner, believe it or not.
Definitely. Still humid outside, you know, and of course me, I'm a summer kid, so I love the summer, but we will continue. Of course, we've had you on before. We've had your co-worker on as well. Let's talk about all the events going on in Smithfield coming up.
Well, the next one that we do 3 events. We hold them all at Windsor Castle Park in the historic manor house area of that park. And the next one, we do 3 each year. The next one coming up is October 3rd. It's the Smithfield VA Bacon, Bourbon, and Beach Music Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, it features bacon and bourbon. Then we also have, in January, we do the Smithfield Bob Fest, which Bob stands for Bloody Marys, oysters, barbecue, Brunswick stew. I don't know. We have a lot of B's in our events. It's kind of crazy.
Right.
And then in April, the second Saturday in April, we do our signature event, which is the one we started with, which is the Smithfield Wine and Brew Fest.
Right. Talking to Gina Ippolito from Smithfield VA Events. And, of course, let's talk about the October 3rd event. That's right around the corner. First of all, tickets still available.
Well, not regular admission tickets. We are sold out. The crazy thing, we are not the largest events in the coastal Virginia area, but we are kind of the best events. We're kind of a boutique. We only do about 3,000 tickets for our event, so everybody has lots of room. So August 10th, we did sell out of our general admission tickets and our non-sponsor tables. You can still get tickets, though. We have some handful of sponsorships left. You can call our local hotels. There's a tab on our website for lodging, and you can add tickets to your room. And we are taking a wait list. So some people will squeak in off the waiting list, but unfortunately, for a lot of people, our events sell out quickly. People have learned that they have to buy them well in advance, and it's just the way it goes. So it's a good problem to have.
Let's get to all the relevant information as far as your social media, your website, and your phone number.
Our main website is www.smithfieldva for Virginia events.com. So it's just smithfieldvaevents.com. And from that website, you can link to each of the 3 events. So that's the best place to send people to go. General information about our events, you can call our visitor center, which is 757-357-5182. And if you're interested in sponsorships, you get to talk to me. So my phone number is 757-869-0664. And all of that information and all those phone numbers are on the website, too.
And I love talking to Gina myself, folks. So I highly, highly recommend talking to Gina for any of these events coming up. What a great time of the year, too, the fall is. And, it's not that far from, Thanksgiving and Christmas. And really, it's all about social events. People, we're a society that we need other people. And this really, when you think about the bacon event, it really is truly a nice social event.
Oh, it really is. And the site that we have our events on is so pretty, and you can look at some photos on our website. But we have 3 stages set up. They're at different places in the event. And the event site is not huge. So it's not like you have to walk tons of areas to get from one place to the other. But there's, we do tables in front of each of the 2 big stages. We've got a special area that's on the lawn of this historic home that actually belonged to Arthur Smith. Hence the name Smithfield. His family came over from England, had all the property, donated land to the town of Smithfield. So it's a unique piece of property, and it's right on the river, right in downtown Smithfield. So it's a beautiful site. We do the party chalets, so we have sponsors who have private parties. We have groups of people that aren't necessarily a business, have found that they also enjoy renting the party chalets. You get to bring in your own food or have it catered by our caterer, Smithfield Station, if you choose. And people mill around the event, and we have some retail vendors, and then, of course, there's all the tastings. This event features everyone with their ticket price gets the Virginia Brew. We'll have about 6 breweries with about 4 or 5 brews apiece that they walk around and do the tastings from. And then, of course, this event also, the second part of it is the bourbon. And it was very popular last year, and it's even more so this year. You have a choice of upgrading to the bourbon ticket, and it's kind of a unique way we do the bourbon, but it was very successful last year. And last year, about 50% of the crowd did bourbon tickets, and this year we're finding about 70% of the crowd has got the bourbon tickets. So we have totally expanded our bourbon area from last year. So,
and cooking with bourbon is really nice. And cooking with bourbon is nice too, in general. Just when you're on your own, just cooking, add a little bourbon to it. The bacon tastes better, the burger tastes better, everything tastes a little bit better with bourbon.
Well, I know everything tastes better with bacon on it. I personally, I'm not a big bourbon drinker, so but I'm getting there. I tried some last year, and I found a couple that I like to sip, and I'm happy to try some more. In fact, we work all year long, really, for the most part, accumulating our bourbons. And last year's bourbon list is still up on the website if you want to take a look at it. We had about 36 bourbons for people to choose from last year. You get a wristband with 10 tabs on it if you've got the bourbon ticket, and you walk into the bourbon tent and you can pick whichever ones you want to sample.
Yep.
This year we've managed to get ourselves on some that we couldn't get last year. We've got, for you bourbon experts out there, I do have some Stag Junior. I've also got some Evan Williams single barrel coming. Last year, I really tried to get this one last year, but I just couldn't get it here. Is the Jefferson Ocean, which is a bourbon that's actually aged at sea.
Nice.
And I have got my hands on some of that this year. And we also landed. I can't remember if it's 4 or 6 bottles of. It's called Wild Turkey Masters 17-year. It's about $150 a bottle bourbon, and I have got like 4 bottles of that this year so far.
Very good.
And we're still collecting our bourbons, and we will be updating the website soon as we start to nail that down as we get a little closer.
And, of course, you can see her link on HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. Of course, browse, shop, visit there as well. Just take a look at her link. Click. It goes right to Gina's website, too. And I know we have a lot of women listeners, Gina, and the first thing they're going to ask about is kids. And so I know this is primarily for adults, but can a kid come?
No, they cannot. All 3 of our events are 21 and up.
Okay, very good, very good.
Yeah, there's alcohol at our event, and we don't do the kid thing.
Right. Well, to me, a 21-year-old is still a kid, in my opinion. Yeah, very good, very good. All right, Gina, one more time, leave us with the website, and of course, we're going to talk again next month as it gets closer to the event.
The website is SmithfieldVAEvents.com.
Very good. Well, have a good rest of the Wednesday. It's getting closer to the weekend. Always a pleasure to talk to you and say hello to your wonderful staff.
I sure will. Thank you very much.
My pleasure, Gina. Thank you so much. Gina Ippolito right there. And, of course, Ken, I still love the summer. My 2 favorite things to do during the summer are the beach and to go swimming and to go fishing. Tennis, when I used to play a lot, that's way down the cupboard here now because that takes too much time and effort. I like to walk as well. But fall festivals are a lot of fun in this area.
Yeah, the best thing I like about summer is the air conditioning.
Yes, I agree.
Which I leave on. But yeah, fall is my favorite time of the year. There's a state fair in Virginia going on. There's the Pork Pine and Peanut Festival. There's so many festivals and events going on. So if you say you can't find anything to do after 1st of September, you ain't looking hard enough.
Yeah, and don't forget to save the date for the Newport News Greek Festival coming up. For more, go to newportnewsgreekfestival.org and watch all the great movies supported there by Paragon and Newport News. Great place to watch a movie, too, right there at Paragon. Don't forget Greg Bickle on Twitter, gjbtv.com for archive shows. Hit the YouTube link. We're going to come back with our next business spotlight and get to What Teased Me Off, an extended version of What Teased Me Off. This is Sports Scene live on the radio at 1246 on 1650. TuneIn.com, type in WHKT.
When it comes to automobile service in Hampton Roads, Fink's Car Care is the destination locals have counted on for decades. Family owned and operated, they specialize in transmission service, oil changes, state inspection, radiator service, tires alignments, and showcase Win Automotive products. Fink's does it all. Military and senior discounts are available. Find them on Facebook and visit them on South Military Highway in Chesapeake and Victory Boulevard in Portsmouth, Monday through Saturday. For more, log on to finkscarcare.com and call 545-3573 today.
When it comes to all things graphic design, one name in Tidewater stands out: Dan Eby Graphic Design. Whether it's a logo, brochure, mailer, or website, Dan Eby takes on your project with one thing in mind: creating stunning, eye-catching designs that make your phone ring and help grow your business. Call today for your free consultation, 237-5194. That's 237-5194. Or see their work online at daneby.net. That's daneby.net. Dan Eby Graphic Design. They make your business stand out.
Mi Hogar is your restaurant for the finest Mexican cuisine in Hampton Roads. At Mi Hogar, everything is prepared fresh in a casual atmosphere. Enjoy traditional favorites such as quesadillas, tacos, burritos, and fajitas, as well as refreshing beverages. Mi Hogar has 2 locations: 4201 Granby Street in Norfolk and 801 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. Call ahead at 640-7705. At Mi Hogar, there is something for everyone.
Now back to Greg Bicouvaris and Sports Scene in the Hampton Roads OnlineMall.com studio.
I knew my rent was gonna be late about a week ago. I worked my ass off, but I still can't pay it though. But I got just enough to get off in this club and have me a good time before my time is up. Hey, let's get it now. Ooh.
All right, back live right here on the radio at 1248. Greg Bicouvaris, your home for CBS News at the top of the hour. More on that tragedy going on this morning with a young girl getting killed doing live television. Ken and I have talked about it, as well as her colleague. Ken and I did a reset at the top of the hour. May her memory be eternal. I'm so sorry for that girl that she had to deal with a tragic lunatic trying to do a live story on TV, and her life is gone that quick, as well as her colleague. Again, may her memory and his memory be eternal. Was two of them, correct, Kenny?
Yeah, it was the photographer, photojournalist, and also the reporter as well.
So it was the male and the female both.
Yeah, and apparently, I was just checking, the suspect has been apprehended, apparently shot himself but survived. There's a lot of conflicting reports, but the latest has him surviving in the hospital. And the manager of WDBJ says he's not sure if he wants him to live or die.
Yeah, that to me is disgusting. Anyway, on a brighter note, on a sweeter note, we had her on last week, and we'll be talking to her a lot as the holidays get closer. Hard to believe, less than 4 months till Christmas. Let's welcome Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate in Virginia Beach. How are you, Brenda?
Hey, Greg, I'm great today. How are you?
A little bit different feel in the air today, Brenda. Last week it was still that hot, muggy, humid feeling. Today is a little bit cooler outside.
Christmas is coming.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And I was telling the last guest, Gina, it's not quite mom's in the kitchen, dad's hovering over the oven yet. Still summertime, but you can start to get that feel, though.
You do, and particularly in retail, and everything seems to be a season ahead of itself, because you've got to plan, you've got to prepare. But we're trying to enjoy the last blast here, doing a lot of fun things. We have some events scheduled for September. We have a chocolate and wine tasting coming up on the 17th of September. They are hugely popular and a lot of fun. So that's something fun coming up. And also something for the kids on the 26th of September, which is a Saturday. Come in and make your own chocolate bar. So
wow. Well, let's talk about the calendar. Let's talk about the time of those events as well.
The chocolate tasting on the 17th starts at 6:30 in the evening. Usually runs to about 8. Sometimes people like to just sit and chat and be social, and that's fine too. A lot of great. We have a sommelier, Crystal Cameron, and she's spectacular. She's brilliant with pairing her chocolates, our chocolates, and her wines, and just amazing to me. But a fun evening. And then on the 26th, between the hours of 11 and 2, you just bring the kids in, and ages 6 and up. And when I say up, I mean up to 70. We've had people. Many adults enjoying this as well. It's a drop-in event. It's only $10, and just a lot of fun. The kids leave with a nice chocolate bar they've made, all decorated in the box that they've created as well.
A little creative. I remember, a lot of girls that get married, they like the dip, the chocolate, and the marshmallow. Talk about how that exactly works. Exactly.
Well, we have a couple of things. When you're doing, you can come in and dip things in chocolate yourself. That's our chocolate fondue.
Right.
You can come in and enjoy dark milk or white chocolate and pick 4 items from our menu and sit here and chat and dip marshmallows and pretzels and strawberries and pound cake and all sorts of fun things in nice chocolate. That's a fun evening or afternoon. Some people use it in place of lunch.
Well,
give us to go now as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And of course, you have very convenient hours. You're open 7 days a week.
We are open 7 days a week. We're open 10 to 9 Monday through Saturday, and we're open 12 to 5 on Sunday. And of course, Town Center is always filled with things to do, free parking and lots of events. So the fall season is the beginning of a lot of great things going on in Town Center.
And that's what I love about Virginia Beach, growing up there and the peninsula both, that, New York is great. Don't get me wrong. I like to go to Broadway. I did an internship there, but I don't like big cities like that where I feel bad for the TV anchors that they've got how do they get there unless they're taking a limo? Can you imagine the poor young lady while her hair is going to get messed up or makeup or sweating? I'm sorry. I'm a little bit more high maintenance myself. If I can't find a parking spot, I don't want to go.
Yeah, well, we have got, I forget, I was in a meeting yesterday, and they're like 6,000 parking spaces.
I love it.
And they're all free.
Yes.
That's the beauty of it, free parking all over Town Center.
Best place to live in the world is Virginia Beach, in my opinion.
I think so, too, and I particularly like this area. I like having a business here. And it's a nice, safe, family environment, and I really enjoy that a lot.
And exactly, because people live nearby there. They can walk, they can go to restaurants, they can browse, shop, and visit there. And of course, it's, and like you said, the free parking, where it kind of gives you that neighborhood feel from yesterday.
Yeah, it really does. I took a long walk yesterday, and I was just noticing and saying to myself how much I appreciated that it's so pedestrian friendly, and you can, I see bikers and joggers and all kinds of people out there trying to get a little exercise in too. But yeah, great place to be. New things happening in town center all the time. New stores, new restaurants.
Sure.
We're very fortunate.
Well, give us all the social media and all the contact information.
Well, we're at 164 Central Park Avenue in the Virginia Beach Town Center. We have a great website, theroyalchocolate.com. You can find us Facebook, The Royal Chocolate. Follow us there because we have some specials that we send out.
Sure.
Sign up if you have a chance to get into the store for our email blast as well. Again, specials sent out to our what we call our loyal Royals. And, we're on Twitter and Pinterest also.
Very
and
good.
Instagram, I forgot that one.
Right, 557-6925.
Thank you, yes.
Yeah, that's the phone number, 557-6925. And, of course, we live in a digital age. We had Larry Bonko, the former Virginia-Pilot writer, on this morning. It's like you can Google anything now.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep, Google us. The best chocolate in Virginia Beach will come right up.
The Royal Chocolate. That's it. All right, Brenda, say hello to Terry, and we will talk to you a couple times next month as well.
Okay, great. Thank you, Greg.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Okay. All right, Kenny, let's get to what teased me off.
What teased you off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right, Ken, the jerk that shot and killed those two people this morning, I hope he personally rots in hell.
Last word, I just checked the news sources once again, and the latest word is that he did shoot himself during a state police pursuit on I-66, and that he is in the hospital in critical condition.
So what? Parents who let their kids ride their bikes on the highway at any time, especially at night.
Or at the corner of County and Court Street in Portsmouth at 11 o'clock at night, you've got a child so small they're still in diapers wandering in the streets. And then I stop and talk to a law enforcement officer who was a block away, and he says, "What are you going to do?"
I know. These are minors, Kenny. These are minors. People that are non-transparent in general.
Yeah.
And those who say, give me all the time.
It cracks me up to see people on Twitter and Facebook who don't have a picture posted and have no information listed. Why are you on social media if you can be that secretive?
Yeah, you should be on a dating website if you don't have a picture either.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, Ken, all those people that say, give me all the time.
And expect it.
Right. Or like they got an injury at a game, they say, okay, what's in it for me? How about waiting a week for your transmission service? A week?
A week?
A week, yes. The Casper effect. People who disappear. You see them one day, they text one day, they talk one day, they become Casper the Friendly Ghost. Ken, I've said it before, the words might and maybe, the two weakest words in the vocabulary. Ask Jim Harbaugh, the head coach of Michigan, if he ever uses the words might and maybe. He will say no. Ken, sometimes I have to write checks. I still do. A lot of it's direct deposit and all this, taking out of your bank accounts. But the space on the checks, it's barely enough to write anything on there.
Yeah, how are you supposed to write it? And check writing now has almost gotten to be the point of like a dial telephone.
Or dial-up internet, too, and not to mention the checks, not enough space as well. The deposit slips at banks, you still got to fill those out. They're really, really small.
Yeah.
All right, exhibition games. Had a friend text me on Sunday about a Steelers preseason game. Really? A preseason game? You're going to text me that a game that doesn't count? Yes, congratulations to Michael Vick, who will be sitting on the bench playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But yes, at 35, he deserves another chance. I do believe that. Exhibition games don't count. Being stranded on 64 in the shoulder lane.
Oh, jeez.
Yes. Driving a loaner car for more than 1 week.
Yeah.
That becomes awkward. Kenny?
Unless it's a really nice loaner car.
Yeah.
We had a loaner van that was one of the top state-of-the-art vans. I didn't want to turn it back in.
Yeah, definitely. Or like a high-end, Altima or something, or BMW or Mercedes. I want to thank our great guest again as well today, the great Larry Bonko, longtime media critic, Gina Ippolito, talking about the Smithfield VA events, Brenda Tusing from the Royal Chocolate. For more, go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link, at Greg Bick on Twitter as well, at Sports Highlight, at GJBTV, and HROnlineMall.com. Great guest as well. Sports Scene live on the radio every Wednesday, 12 to 1, and also right here on 1650 and tunein.com. Type in WHKT on your phone or your computer. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bicouvaris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth. It's 1 o'clock.